Okay, number one, it says let x equals negative 11 over 8 and y equals negative 11 over 4. Okay, so we have y here, x. So which expression has a negative value? So if you're adding negative 11 over 4 plus negative 11 over 8, because this is equal to x, that's y. Remember that plus and negative together will make it negative. So you have negative with more negative. So that will be negative. So A actually is the answer. B x minus y. So when you say negative 11 over 4 minus negative 11 over 8, so we have to determine which one is bigger magnitude or size. When you have the same numerator, okay, actually before I do that, let's just make it plus here, because minus times negative, or yeah, minus times negative is positive. So which one is bigger? When you're dividing 11 over 8 versus 11 over 4, you get more, you get bigger number. Okay, just forget the negative or positive for now. 11 over 4 will be bigger number than 11 over 8. The more you have the divisor or denominator, the more you have it, less you get, or less quotient you get. So if you just look at the size alone, this is bigger. But having a negative here, so because this size is bigger and having a negative there is making it more negative than positive. Now if you don't believe me, just carry out your calculation. Let's have a common denominator. 4 times 2 is 8, so negative 22 over 8 plus 11 over 8 equals negative 11 over 8. So you can also see that it's more negative. So B is also negative. C is not, because when you have negative times negative, negative number x times negative number y, negative times negative is always positive, so this is always positive. C is not negative value. And D, it will also be a positive, because when you divide a negative number by a negative number, negative over negative is positive. So the only answer in number 1 should be A and B. Number 2, calculate the value of each expression. Okay, so negative 8 times 2 over 3. There's nothing you can cancel out, so why don't we just multiply the numerator? Because negative 8 is essentially negative 8 over 1. You can multiply the denominator together, multiply the numerator together. Now if the teacher allows an improper fraction, this should be it. Well, let's say the teacher saying, oh, you have to live in mixed fraction, and 16 over 3 will give you 5. 3 times 5 is 15, and you have 1 remainder. So your quotient should be 5. Don't forget negative here. Negative 5, 1 over 3. Your remainder over divisor, 1 over 3. Okay, letter B, that was 2A, and let's go to B. Negative 8 times negative 2 thirds. Okay, it's the same thing as the last one, except that we have negative times negative. So this needs to be positive. So 16 over 3. You should not forget that there's a denominator 3. Okay, it will be correct if you just say negative 8 times 2, or negative 8 times negative 2, 16 will be correct, but there's a 3 underneath, so we should factor that in. The top, okay, negative times positive is always negative. Maybe there's negative sign here, but this negative sign needs to be closer to 1. If you leave your answer like this, with the equal sign like this, teacher may overlook. So it's more proper to say like this, which is much more clear. Right, everything else is good except for number 3, last one. I'm gonna call it C then. Negative 0.1 equals negative C. Okay, so all we need to do is to leave C alone on the right side, and negative 10 is multiplied with C. To reverse that, you have to divide. Multiplication and divisions are like the opposite each other. So negative 10 over negative 10, but you can't just satisfy one's condition here. You have to satisfy both sides of the equation. So negative 10 cancels, so you get C is equal to, now here's the tricky part, you have a decimal over fraction. So one thing I can do is that convert 0.1 to 1 over 10, and I have negative 10 here. Now it's essentially negative 1/10 divided by negative 10, and if you divide any fraction, you multiply its reciprocal, negative 1 over 10, so it becomes 1 over 100. And please don't forget, negative times negative is always positive. So 1 over 100. If you want to leave your answer as a decimal, it will be 0.01.